Two on Your Side investigates Charlie Specht and Sean Mickey tell us many of the details of the incident have remained secret until now.
Hit and run PDO 456 Prospect, getting multiple calls in.
It eroded my trust, not just in, Erie County, Sheriff's Department, also in the Buffalo Police Department.
I went down the street and hit a few parked cars.
Should any of them tarnish the police department, they should be held accountable.
They will.
As chief of the Erie County Sheriff's Narcotics and Intelligence Unit, DJ Granville is front and center when police agencies announce major drug busts in Buffalo.
And I want to commend our chief of narcotics and intelligence, DJ Granville.
But Granville's actions nearly a year ago have clouded his future and that of another member of his politically connected family. They also raise fundamental questions about whether police are given special treatment when they're alleged to have broken the law. Shortly before midnight on April 11th, 2024, Granville was off duty driving his Dodge Ram pickup owned by Erie County. According to a Buffalo police report obtained by Two on Your Side, Granville was less than a mile from his west side home when he struck two vehicles on Jersey Street near the intersection of Prospect Avenue. His vehicle then turned south on Prospect, heading in the wrong direction on a one-way street. The pickup struck a third vehicle, causing that car to hit a fourth vehicle. Granville then continued a block down Prospect before his car struck two more vehicles facing northbound. He passed Hudson Street, striking a seventh vehicle before coming to a stop. Buffalo police would not provide us with the full police report for the incident, but Two on Your Side obtained it from other sources. And it shows the crash was originally classified as a hit and run.
Yeah, my car was underneath this tree.
Mary Wyant's car was parked in front of her Jersey Street apartment when Granville's pickup sideswiped it. She says it caused $7,000 worth of damage.
And in that open spot is where my neighbor's car was. Hers had substantially more damage, and so that's when it was really like, oh no, something bad has happened.
A total of 6 drivers have filed legal claims with Erie County seeking reimbursement for repairs. That's expected to cost county taxpayers nearly $60,000. Granville faced no charges related to drunk driving, and nothing indicates he was required to undergo a breathalyzer or field sobriety test. Court records obtained by Two on Your Side show Granville was instead ticketed for going the wrong way down a one-way street, later reduced to jaywalking and a $150 fine. Do you feel like this sheriff's chief is being treated differently because of who he is? Do you think the average person would be involved in a crash involving 7 vehicles and face no charges?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of my main concerns. It's a public safety issue. No one's above the law. If it were a normal citizen who had gone through it and caused this much damage and hit this many cars, that a different action would have been taken.
Any questions, I'd be happy to answer anyone.
Sheriff, how do you respond to these very serious allegations that have been made against your chief of narcotics, Granville?
Charlie, we're here today talking about something that's, really made an impact on Erie County. The people, you saw the search warrants, they were executed throughout Erie County. We took fentanyl, dangerous guns, and so forth. And you're talking about a car accident. I really don't have a comment on a car accident.
What would you say to people that look at this drug bust and say, this is great, you're taking drugs off of the street, you're holding people accountable, but when one of your own chiefs allegedly drives drunk, smashes 7 cars, costs taxpayers $60,000 in damages, that person is not being held accountable?
Well, I think you answered the question. It's allegedly, until I hear otherwise, which I haven't. It's a car accident, and I don't have a comment on that. Yes.
Can we ask the chief if he was driving drunk that night?
No, you may not.
Granville, who made $214,000 last year, comes from a politically connected family, and he has donated thousands to local political campaigns. Granville's wife, Maria Esquilin Granville, is a member of the Erie County Democratic Committee and has hosted political fundraisers for Democratic Chairman Jeremy Zellner, former Mayor Brown, and acting Mayor Scanlon. His wife's sister is Lucia Esquilin, seen here in 2023 when she became a Buffalo Police lieutenant. Esquilin responded to Granville's car crash and signed off in multiple places at the bottom of the police report. A source with knowledge of the incident said internal investigators with the Buffalo Police are now probing whether Esquilin helped cover up the actions of her brother-in-law last April. Wyant, who confirmed that she was interviewed by internal investigators, says that's all she's looking for.
It's a public safety issue. I think that there needs to be more transparency, communication, honesty when it comes from the people who have sworn to protect and serve you.
Well, Charlie and Sean are here now. This is quite a case that you've managed to bring to life. But what happens now with Granville? I assume he was at the news conference. He's still on the job.
He still is very much on the job. He was at this news conference, and payroll records that we obtained indicate he took more than a month off starting the day after this incident, but he was back on the job at the news conference today. Again, he makes $214,000 per year.
And we should also know that the sheriff's office has not said what happened to that pickup truck Granville was driving. The truck is owned by county taxpayers, and we still don't know whether they had to shell out money to have that paid and repaired.
You ask a lot of interesting questions in that news conference, and I'm sure you're going to stay on it and follow up with the sheriff once he gets more insight as to what happened in that incident.
Tonight we're getting the first look at damage to a county-owned vehicle driven by Erie County Sheriff's Chief DJ Granville last April, and further evidence that suggests Buffalo City government and the Erie County Sheriff's Office may have played roles in a cover-up. Sheriff Garcia downplayed all of this Tuesday and stopped us from asking whether the politically connected Granville, who faced no charges other than jaywalking, was drunk behind the wheel.
And it's allegedly, until I hear otherwise, which I haven't, it's a car accident, and I don't have a comment on that. Yes.
Can we ask the chief if he was driving drunk that night?
No, you may not.
But now, records obtained by Two on Your Side Investigates suggest that damages to the taxpayer-owned vehicle were extensive, and there are new questions about whether taxpayers should have to foot the bill. We filed a Freedom of Information request for towing records 1 month ago, and Wednesday, a day after our story, the city provided them. Those records show extensive damage to the front end of the pickup and a right front wheel that was completely off the axle. The city waived a $150 towing fee for the sheriff's vehicle and did not require sheriff's deputies to provide a signature when they retrieved the vehicle, which is against protocol. County taxpayers have already paid $60,000 to reimburse people whose parked cars were struck by Granville's truck. But payroll records indicate Granville was off duty at the time. That's caused County Comptroller Kevin Hardwick to make inquiries about the county's legal responsibility for paying those claims and whether Granville should be required to reimburse taxpayers. Well, neither of the two police agencies involved in the cover-up of a suspicious series of hit-and-run crashes by embattled Sheriff's Chief DJ Granville has turned over documents to the Erie County DA's office for criminal prosecution. But even if they had, DA Mike Kane's office may not be able to dig into this because of a potential conflict of interest his office has with Granville's family, which has deep political ties. Kane's office confirmed to us that Kristen Granville, who is DJ Granville's sister-in-law and who is married to DJ Granville's brother, works for the Erie County DA's office as a legal secretary. Her husband, William Granville, is also on the county payroll as a sheriff's detective, making $112,000 last year. Kane's spokesperson says, quote, potential conflicts of interest are always evaluated to ensure that a thorough and impartial investigation is conducted. If there's a conflict of interest or any appearance of impropriety, our office can request that the court appoint a special prosecutor. She also says Kane did not learn about this until Tuesday, when our story about the crashes first aired. These are allegations that involve two of the biggest police agencies in this region. And we've talked with someone whose car was damaged who said this really damaged their trust in the law enforcement process. Are you concerned about that as DA, and is there anything that you'd like to say about this incident?
I don't comment on, potential pending investigations, Charlie.
Now, this entire matter has the potential to be politically explosive for multiple elected leaders because of Granville's political ties and campaign contributions. Some would like to see someone outside Western New York look into this, possibly State Attorney General Letitia James. A spokesperson for James says she is not involved at this point and would likely need a referral from the governor to investigate. Dave McKinley continues our team coverage. Dave.
Well, Charlie, Democrats and Republicans alike expressed chagrin over having learned of the incident involving Granville almost a year ago, only through recent television news reports which uncovered it. So now lawmakers will use subpoena powers to question Sheriff Garcia and DJ Granville, as well as the county comptroller, the county attorney, and county executive Mark Poloncarz, whose office ultimately approved $60,000 in settlements with those who had their cars damaged. On that note, lawmakers, while they were notified in November of the settlements, they're not subject to their approval, so they say they were never told what they were for, nor that they stem from an incident involving a high-ranking member of the sheriff's department driving a county-owned vehicle. Do you think that maybe things have to change where you would have to approve something, so they have to give you a little more information?
We should absolutely know that, and that report should be in greater detail of what that settlement was for and what were the circumstances surrounding that.
The chairman does, by charter, have the ability to subpoena, and that's an important one that we're going to need to use. Simply put, this incident doesn't pass the smell check, and it's our job to take a further look into it.
The resolution calling for the investigation was put forth by minority Republicans, but it also gained support from almost every member of the Democratic caucus. The only no vote came from legislator John Gilmore, a Democrat, who's also the attorney for the Buffalo Police Union. On your side, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Tonight, we have some new reaction following a Two on Your Side investigation into a hit and run involving the Erie County Sheriff's Office. Channel 2 investigative reporter Sean Mickey is here now. And Sean, you questioned Sheriff John Garcia earlier today about a potential Erie County legislature subpoena after your investigation this week.
Scott, for much of this week, Sheriff John Garcia has been embroiled in a scandal involving DJ Granville, his chief of narcotics and intelligence. Today, we spoke to Garcia directly about this and whether he would appear before the Erie County Legislature, which has opened its own investigation. In an exclusive interview with Two on Your Side Investigates, the sheriff says he's in a holding pattern until Buffalo Police conducts its own probe into whether Granville's sister-in-law helped cover up the crash on Buffalo's west side. Granville and the sheriff's office have come under fire for the light treatment he received, paying a fine for jaywalking despite damaging 8 vehicles, including a county-owned pickup truck he was driving at the time of the crash. We tracked down Garcia outside the Irish Civic Luncheon in South Buffalo, where he said he would have no problem answering questions on the matter.
I'm hopeful that this investigation proceeds in a timely manner so we could all find out what happened that evening.
But the legislature is asking you to talk to them. Will you speak with the legislature?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I don't need a subpoena for them to ask me questions. I mean, obviously, we were not there that evening. We were told that certain things happened, and why would we think otherwise?
Now, Garcia went on to say that he has questions of his own, and he said whatever the facts are is where the case will go. And while Garcia said sheriff's deputies were not there the night of the crash, sources do tell Two on Your Side that they did appear at the city's impound lot to retrieve that vehicle that's owned by you, the taxpayers. On your side in the studio, Sean Mickey, Channel 2 News.
We have an update on a Two on Your Side investigation that broke last week. Investigative reporter Charlie Specht is here with the latest information about the late night car crashes involving Erie County Sheriff's Chief DJ Granville. Charlie.
Lauren, we're hearing tonight from Erie County's Chief Fiscal Officer, County Comptroller Kevin Hardwick, who's been asking questions about how this growing scandal affects county taxpayers. Hardwick told Two on Your Side Investigates that he had heard rumblings of a crash involving a sheriff's deputy, but it wasn't until our report aired last week that he discovered the full extent of the crashes, which caused more than $60,000 damage to a total of 8 vehicles. County Attorney Jeremy Toth told me today that about $30,000 has already been paid to people whose cars were damaged after Granville struck them with his county pickup truck. Toth said realistically, though, the county is likely to pay all of the claims and then decide whether to try to recoup some for taxpayers.
The facts support that he was off duty when the incident occurred. Your office will try to claw that money back for taxpayers.
We think the money should be clawed back for taxpayers. We won't necessarily be the ones doing it. Maybe we will, but I think that's the job of the county attorney. And, we're trying to stay in our lane in all of this.
Now, Toth County Attorney said the determining factor on whether it's legal to recoup these funds from Granville or his insurance company is whether Granville was on duty or off duty at the time of the crash, which occurred around midnight last April. The comptroller's office says records appear to show Granville was off duty, while Toth says Sheriff John Garcia's office has suggested the chief was on duty. We asked Garcia for a clarification on this point today, and his spokesperson did not respond. Live on your side in the newsroom, Charlie Specht, Channel 2 News. Well, the Buffalo Police Internal Affairs Division is conducting an investigation into whether Sheriff John Garcia's narco chief, DJ Granville, received special treatment after damaging 8 vehicles last April. And central to that investigation is whether Buffalo Police Lieutenant Lucia Esquilin helped cover up those crashes for Granville, who is her brother-in-law. Today at a regular meeting of the Common Council, Niagara District Councilmember David Rivera, who is a former police officer, says his constituents want transparency from the city.
I don't want anybody to think that that we're not following through on this. The county legislatures are doing an investigation. They're also waiting on us as well. I have questions, and that's why we filed a letter, because of the questions, the unknown.
New Police Commissioner Alfonso Wright has also made no public comments on this, but Rivera says that will change April 17th when the commissioner will appear before the council's Police Oversight Committee at 11 a.m. Another thing Rivera wants to know is whether the department forwarded this information to the state AG's office, who he thinks could conduct a more independent investigation. Live on your side at Buffalo City Hall, Charlie Speck, Channel 2 News.
Channel 2 News starts now with breaking news.
Yeah, right off the top tonight at 6, just into our newsroom. 2 on Your Side Investigates has obtained now this video. Take a look, appearing to show the hit-and-run crash involving Erie County Sheriff's Chief of Narcotics, DJ Granville. The video was taken on a Nest security camera last April and just now given to 2 on Your Side Investigates from our sources.
It appears to show Granville driving on Jersey Street and Prospect Avenue on Buffalo's west side, where he hits 2 parked cars. The video will prove to be a key piece of evidence into the investigation surrounding the crash and the conduct of both Granville and responding officers.
Well, Sheriff's Chief DJ Granville comes from a family with deep political and law enforcement ties, so it's no surprise that one of his relatives, his sister-in-law Kristen Granville, works for the Erie County DA's office. That has caused Erie County DA Mike Kane to step away from this case to avoid, quote, the potential appearance of impropriety. So now the case will go to Niagara County DA Brian Seaman, a Republican, who was appointed as special prosecutor by Erie County Court Judge Sheila DiTullio this afternoon. In a written statement, Kane said, quote, I asked the court to appoint a special prosecutor to review the April 2024 incident involving Chief DJ Granville. Recently, the Buffalo Police Department's Internal Affairs Division contacted my office for consultation regarding its ongoing investigation. That investigation is said to be looking into the light treatment Granville received after striking 7 vehicles and causing $60,000 in damages last April. Granville faced no criminal charges and did not take a breathalyzer test, and investigators are now looking into the role of Lucia Esquilin, who is a lieutenant at the scene and whose sister is married to Granville. I reached out to Kane's office and Seaman's office trying to clarify whether Buffalo police are consulting about potential criminal charges against Granville or against Esquilin. Both said they couldn't get into those details. We also reached out to Sheriff John Garcia, whose spokesman said, quote, as we have stated, we will not have any comment on this matter until the investigation is complete. The spokesman, Chris Horvadets, later revised that statement, issuing another statement that said, we will fully cooperate with Niagara County District Attorney Brian Seaman if called upon. On your side, Charlie Speck, Channel 2 News.